Hey guys, Arm&Gun here today. Welcome to the Armory. By popular request, we are talking today, I don't know if it's a popular request, it's definitely one guy's been asking for a while, but we're talking about the early Dutch AR-10s. Hey buddy, hi, what's going on? Hi buddy. It's Argo. The whole fam's down here. Goji was down here a second ago as well. He's now disappeared. Anyways, all these beautiful things stacked up in a Dasco rolling rack. Thanks again to those guys who sent this back in the day. It is super handy, and I get 20 hot gats all lined up on here. And Gat Cat loves to jump up onto here and then up onto there. So that's his deal. Anyways, these early Dutch AR-10s are really special. They're very cool. They're ArmaLite, but they are licensed by Artillery Lichtigen, something like that. Gun Jesus says it best. They didn't make very many of them, but they did fulfill a number of contracts, and I have a number of them here. So we'll talk about them a little bit. I'll grab one, and then we'll go through that just as a general overview on the platform itself. Typical gun library fashion. We'll cover the controls. We'll cover the ergonomics. We'll bust it out on the table over there, so weigh it, measure it, compare it to some other well-known quantities, and I'll give you a bit of a gun ASMR review on it, as well as the secret sauce. What was the thing that made that gun extra special? We'll see what Gat Cat gets up to during the episode. But otherwise, that's the plan. We'll try and keep this one short and sweet. So, to kick things off, funny enough, the Cubans, Fidel Castro, I think, was actually one of the early dudes that had these guns. Those kicked off the first round of serial numbers, and so it was the Cuban contract, which is like the first roughly 200 guns. A buddy of mine, Richard, the Real Deal Movie Arms, has one of those guns. And then there was a Sudanese contract, which was the next 1,500 or roughly. These are approximate numbers. You can look them up. Then there was the Portuguese contract, which is this beautiful dude right there. And then there was some Italian, like some NATO stuff, some prototypes, which I believe this guy is right here. Then they came to Canada by a guy named Wilkie, Arm Sales back in the day. Not around anymore, but he did a lot for the Canadians by bringing a lot of cool stuff in. And the AR-10s are, I think, largely attributed to him, the ones that are floating around up here. And some of them that came in with really busted up furniture, he did his own thing. It's a quick little tangent here. This is called colloquially, the Wilkie Wood edition. So it's a real deal dude, but it's been refinished, and it had custom wood furniture made for it. And there's a decent number of these, but that was how they were referred to as. So kind of frickin' awesome. Here's the Sudanese example. Now, funnily enough, my serial number falls into the range of the early Cuban, like serial number 150, so that's interesting. The lower doesn't perfectly match the upper. I don't know what's going on there, but it is a Sudanese pattern upper. Very lightweight, a little bit less durable. They did definitely do some things after that, but yeah, that's that guy. So you can see lots of little differences, different flash hitter. Different way the charging handle worked. These actually then had a non-reciprocating charging handle, which is quite a bit different. I'll show you guys that. Actually, we'll take one of the Portuguese. They're much more common, so that's what we'll run through. Here are your standard AR controls, yeah, just very interesting. And I do need some components to fix the debauchery that these things experienced upon hitting Canadian soil. Allegedly, Mr. Wilkie kept the parts in little baggies and gave them to his friends under the table. Unfortunately, I was not one of his friends back in the day, so I was not able to partake in such a thing, nor apparently were any of the people that I got these through. So as it's fully legal for me to do so now, I would like the appropriate components to finish these so that they could experience their former glory once again, once we get the range license dialed in here for doing live fire. So I'm still working on that. All you guys that whine and complain I don't shoot any of these things, I can't do so on camera because, well, I'm not approved for that quite yet. Anyways, this is the final one. It's a different style of furniture and an integrated bipod, which is really cool. And let's, because this one has the most stuff and is more unique, that's kind of typical of your expected Portuguese pattern. So let's use this one for today's discussion. We'll kick things off at the scale. Okay, we are about 41 inches along overall length. And we are 10 pounds on the button, 4.55 kilos. That weight is indicative of this model, which has this type of furniture. the bipod, the integral burn bipod handguard. We are serial number the 7900s, which is incredibly late, which is why I'm assuming this is in the NATO prototype era or something. But whoever knows more can comment if they want. That'd be really cool to learn. But yeah, let's throw a couple like-minded, perhaps more familiar guns beside this to appreciate the scale. All right, for your fun gun comparison here, I got this guy partnered up with some fun companions. We've got a Rami with the dongle. My name is Jez. pretty neat there. That's really cool. And we've got a Para Sterling Mark 7. That's also pretty cool. I want to get an SMG, for lack of a better term, assault rifle, battle rifle, and then a pistol. And not just any pistol. This is not even just any broom handle. This is the Astra Model F, which is really cool. Look it up. They're quite uncommon, and this one's beautifully mint. Thank you to Marstar. It was a part of a synchronized serial number pair. Well, I got one, and the real deal Richard Movie Arms got the other. So very excited to have this. This is very cool, and it has the rate reducer inside, so this thing is theoretically only going to have 350 to 400 rounds per minute, which actually makes it very usable. Detachable magazines, I'm looking for a 20, and chambered to 9mm Largo, which is the only unfortunate part because that's tricky to find. Anyways, let's carry on over to the tool bench where we'll talk shop on the rest of the details. Hoorah. Whoop. Okay, so this is a 20-round magazine, and the charging handle is locked unless you do this. So it's pretty cool. It's a non-reciprocating. See, it's got a little track system in there. So this one doesn't actually pop out the back of the receiver there and boop you in the face. Not that it ever should, but yeah, it doesn't. So there you go. Nice and clear. Got a nice chromed bolt there. Here's your mag release, by the way. I guess we're kicking things off with controls, is what I'm also saying here. We have semi, we have safe, and we have nothing further because, again, these have to be slightly adulterated to get where they are. We have a nice bolt catch and release right there. Similar takedown pins as you would expect to see on current things. Again, this wasn't ArmaLite. It was just licensed to be manufactured, or at least the contract for manufacturing was these guys. Again, Artillery in Richtigen. They no longer exist, of course, but this was way back in the early 60s, so quite some time ago. We have a couple fun proof marks up here. If anyone wants to nerd out on those, you can check them out. Let me know in the comments what those actually are. We have your rear sight, which is a dial adjustable dude. Oh, that probably shouldn't turn like that though. That probably should be staying straight, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But anyways, your shielded front post. This is cool. Obviously you should know what this is. These are rings to fire a grenade launching, rifle mounted grenade to launch one of those. And this will be your gas shutoff. You just stick the tip of a bolt in there, crank her over, and that would shut off your gas. So very cool. Bipod just deploys like so. And they just retract straight back. Honestly, this was molded really well. These are really, like, you don't even get a pinch point gliding over that. Well done. Well designed. Heat shield up here. Handguard is definitely vented. Got the really cool early waffle pattern magazines. These were intended to be disposable. They're not heckin' durable, but you can obviously reuse them. Double stack, double feed. And we even had flared magwell. How nice is that? Frickin' the OGs knew it. Got your winter trigger guard here so you can pop this down and get gloves in there. Let's take a look at that trigger. Ooh. Oh, what a terrible reset or lack thereof. Wait. Manual reset. But you're right on it, it breaks. There's fairly minimal over travel. Now, ergonomics. This thing is, it's an AR. It's got pretty dang good ergonomics, especially if you're a righty at this time. It's not very ambidextrous, at least at this point. So you got that, but otherwise, for a righty, it's pretty good. Very comfortable to shoulder, nice cheek weld, a nice long radius in between here, so very good for practical accuracy. Naturally, a pretty accurate platform. These were known to be absolutely abusive on full auto. I can't speak to that, but I've just heard that they give a pretty good at least the lighter weight original versions. This is 10 pounds, this is heavier. It's got the whole buffer tube system, like it should be in theory a little nicer, but again, hopefully someday I can bring this to the table for you guys and we can all learn and experience that together. We also have a little lug up here for a bayonet. Yeah, overall, great ergs. If you're familiar with an AR-15, you're familiar with this. It's nice. It's well balanced. Of course, you do have, it's not like a bullpup. You do have a lot of weight up front, but it's pretty decent. The balance point is to the rear of the pivot pin, so that's good. At least you're carrying most of the weight in close. All right, your ASMR review and then your secret sauce. Now, the ASMR review, I've thought about this. About it quite a bit. This is pretty nice. Look how this is this telescopic charging handle in here. That's pretty good. It's pretty smooth. That's pretty satisfying. However, that's not it. This is it. You got your Freedom chocolate right here. I said that in a short on one of these guys back a couple years ago. Freedom chocolate. And a lot of you guys liked that. And yeah, it's not just a waffle mag. Those nice little breakable apart pieces remind me of like a Cadbury bar or something like that. Just break all the individual pieces of delectable European chocolate and enjoy. Anyways, it's how nice of a fit this is. This is so lightweight. Again, it just feels like a piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. It's like a vacuum seal kind of fit, just right in there. Oh yeah. And then that positive click. Yeah. Eat the chocolate. Taste the freedom. That'd be a good Skittles commercial. Anyways, that's that. Now the secret sauce is how freaking epic this platform was back in the day. They didn't know how good they had it until they kind of lost it. And then the AR-15 came about and kind of reinvigorated the platform. And then I got to credit Knight's Armament with really bringing life back into the AR-10 by calling it the SR-25. That's this guy. Dimples. Just the controls and ergonomics and layout, like this has been a time-tested and still very similar to this day system. So I think that's really cool. That's probably the secret sauce of this, just the undying nature. This is the first time they're implemented, and they just stuck because of how freaking good they were. Eugene Stoner was a genius for firearms design. All right, not sure what else there is to talk about. We do have a Saiga AK in here as well, 308 AK. We'll talk about that sooner or later. But just overall, what a cool platform. Very grateful to have some examples of these in the armory. Super cool. We'll talk about the other ones at some point here as well. I'm not sure if I'll do independent videos of those or if I'll do a group video for now to get those out, maybe some independent videos later. I got, again, there's like 200 guns here to do videos on. If I do one of these a week, we're going to be here for a while. So I might try and expedite some content out on these guys as a group video, and we'll go from there. Check out my B channel at Arm and Armory to see me take this thing apart. That should be early next week sometime. And there'll be a short on this channel as well, just to pump it up and be a fun little 1-minute rundown on how to run that gun. Guys, please consider supporting me, Patreon, or better yet, just get some merch at Bunker Branding. Those Boom Diggity tees and sweaters are hot commodity. So I'll catch you in the next one. Arm&Gun and GatCat signing out. Oh, look at the kitty. Oh, so cute. Purr, 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 purr. Boom Diggity. Merch.